Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. Congress is still trying to come to an agreement on DACA. That's President Obama's program that gives work permits to illegal immigrants who arrived here as minors. The tone of the debate over this has changed quite a bit in the last few days, thanks wholly to President Trump's now famous comments suggesting that some countries are not as appealing as other countries and may, in fact, not produce equally desirable immigrants. Well, America's elites have recoiled in shock and horror and rage. How dare he say something like that? And so from Hollywood to Silicon Valley to MSNBC, a new consensus has formed, which, of course, the rest of us are now required to believe. So get a pen. It's this. Every other country is great, especially the poor and disorganized ones, and the immigrants those countries send here are uniformly more impressive than you are, every single one of them. They fight more wars, they pay more taxes, they start more companies than your kids ever will. So shut up with your doubts or inconvenient questions, otherwise we will fire you. So that's what our moral betters on cable news are telling us vehemently. The question is, do they really believe that? Do they really think that all standards are arbitrary and racist and that everyone from everywhere is exactly the same level of awesome? Well, for an answer, ignore what they say. Take instead a close look at how they live. Do our elites send their own children to colleges with universal admittance policies where everybody gets in? Of course they don't. Their kids go to Harvard and Stanford and Yale. Those are the most respected universities in the world precisely because they're the most selective ones. Harvard's acceptance rate is just a hair above 5%. They brag about how many high school valedictorians they reject. Now, Harvard has countless professors who support open borders and fret about white privilege. Yet how many admissions officers do they have who will admit poorly educated Haitians who can't speak English? Let's see. None. Not a single one. Harvard is famous and admired because it's selective. In other words, because it discriminates on the basis of achievement and ability. If Harvard chose its students the way America chooses its immigrants, our elites wouldn't send their kids there. The cachet would be gone, along with the quality. The same, of course, goes for corporate America. Does Facebook hire by a diversity lottery? Come on. Would Google apply temporary protected status to its own workforce, hiring and keeping thousands of people with no relevant skills simply because they're from impoverished backgrounds? Another dumb question. The people who run Google and Facebook care about their companies in the same way that people who run Harvard care about their school. The one thing none of them care about is America, which is why they're demanding standards for our country they would never apply to themselves. It is sickening and hypocritical, and we've had enough of it. Going forward, we're going to push this country's elites to live by the standards they espouse. If America must give citizenship to 11 million undocumented immigrants, Harvard ought to give free tuition to 1,100 undocumented students. If it's okay to sneak into your city illegally and use the public services, why is it wrong to live in a dorm at Princeton without being enrolled? Jeff Bezos thinks it's immoral to send dreamers back to their own countries. Okay, why shouldn't Bezos give a few thousand of them high-paying corporate jobs at Amazon? Well, of course he should, immediately. The truth is, our ruling class supports our current immigration policy because for them, it's all upside. They're not standing in line in crowded emergency rooms or sending their kids to chaotic public schools or competing for jobs with people who will work for less than they will. For them, open borders mean cheaper labor and bountiful household help. And above all, the sense that, unlike you, they're good people. They care. They're not bigots like those voters in Kentucky and Ohio. What our rulers need is a strong dose of reality, a sense of what their policies mean for everybody else. So let's give them that. You can send your ideas to us on Twitter. You can do that by sending your tweet to @TuckerCarlson. We're interested in what you think. In the meantime, we're joined tonight by Cesar Vargas. He's both an illegal immigrant and an attorney in New York. Mr. Vargas, thanks for coming on.
Tucker, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. So it's a pretty simple calculation. Why not treat America like you really cared about it? Our policymakers treat it with maybe half the care that Harvard treats its school with and say, we're going to try and figure out which immigrants are going to be the most successful. It's not about race, but it is about the massive amount of data we have on how people do once they get here. And people who are more likely to succeed will get preference, and those who are less likely to succeed won't. What's wrong with that?
Well, two very important points. The first point is that the United States is not a company. The United States is not a school. It's a nation. Second point, we want to make sure that we scrutinize every person coming here into the country. We want to make sure that they don't have any terrorist background. We want to make sure they don't have a violent criminal record. No one disputes that. But let's get this point very important, that the United Nations was created mainly in the Declaration of Independence because the king restricted immigration, because the King of England said, states, colonies, you can no longer bring people from other countries. And what happened? American Revolution, a beautiful idea of this nation came about.
So this is not about Revolution was spurred because King George was a restriction of immigration. Okay, that's a whole
history,
other show where I try to educate you on
independence.
Okay. All right, okay. But let's just back up a little bit. You said that the two standards we need to apply are people aren't terrorists and they don't have a criminal record. Would you apply those standards in your own life to anything? I'm going to hire this person. I'll let him into my school. I'll marry this person. Just as long as this person doesn't have a terror background or a criminal record. Shouldn't we aim a little bit higher than that if we really cared about the country?
Of course, we want to have standards. But at the same time, what made this great nation is what we see in the Statue of Liberty. Give me your poor, your huddled masses. And look, your ancestors came here when they were poor. Many ancestors of the founding fathers came here when they were poor. And now look at you, Tucker. You're a successful Fox News host.
You're kind of missing it. This is not we're not in the 18th century now. And if you really care about the country, you think deeply about what's going to make it better and safer and more prosperous, happier, more cohesive. You don't adopt a faith-based approach that says there's an inscription on the bottom of a statue in New York Harbor, let's just roll with that and hope for the best. You don't do that. So why wouldn't you say, for example, I'll throw a stat out here. You tell me if you think it's relevant. So the Science Talent Search Competition tries to identify kids who are good at science, which is like a pretty good measure. It's tested students in America. 14 of the top 40 had Indian immigrant parents. So that would suggest, well, gee whiz, that and a lot of other markers suggest that the Indians do pretty well. Why not encourage a lot more Indian immigration? Why would that be bad?
Well, we want to make sure that we attract the best, obviously, but we want to attract people who have a belief of what it means to be American. Someone who believes that if they come here, work hard. That is what makes this nation great. It doesn't mean about people, hey, give me your scientists, give me your engineers. It says if you work hard, you can be an American.
Okay, so how about we apply that? No, okay,
then
we can roll with that too. So we're not going to measure success or intelligence or anything like that, just hard work. So then you wouldn't be against saying, if you're here as an immigrant, you take no public benefit of any kind. You can't go to an emergency room for health care. You can't, I don't know, use emergency Medicaid for your health care. You can't take any kind of program at all, right? Because why would we bring people here and then give them free stuff? Would you be for that?
Well, I am for no taxation without representation.
Oh, you're not for that. Oh, you're not for that.
If immigrants pay
what about the hard work
they should be able to get protection. They should be able to get health care if they're paying for their own doctor, if they're paying for their own security. I think that's fair.
How about this? Then would it be fair? Would it be fair for the people who own this country, which is its voters, its citizens, to say we're going to do just a really simple cost-benefit analysis on every immigrant? Are you paying in more than you're taking out in services? How about that? And if you're not, you have to leave. Well, what would you think of that?
In 2016, undocumented immigrants contributed $2 trillion to the U.S. economy.
Don't give me generalizations.
So,
let's be very specific. Hold on. Let's be very specific.
Numbers.
Hold on. No, slow down. How about in each specific case we say, if you're an immigrant here, really simple, prove that you're producing more than you consume. If you think that's the point, that's the criterion we're going to use, would you be for applying that standard?
I'm for the American people. I'm for Republicans, Democrats coming together and come up with a solution.
Standard. Okay, so you're not really for any standards,
working together for a solution. I want to create standards that work for everyone. I want standards.
How about standards that work for Americans? Wait, but hold on. It's not for everybody because America doesn't exist to help the populations of other countries. It exists. The government exists for one reason, and that's to look out for its own people, its voters. It's a democracy, as you may know. So why wouldn't the American people have a right to say we're only admitting people who can demonstrate they make this country better? Not in some general sense, they're all valedictorians and war heroes, but like in a very specific mathematical sense. What would be wrong with that?
Because this nation is such a great place because we have allowed the poor, the people who were hungry back there. Your ancestors were poor. Your ancestors of your viewers.
Well, you don't know anything about my ancestors for one thing. But
so it's not
that's
about just
not
now.
the point.
It's about
my ancestors
what we wanted the
yours.
future of this country to be. Listen, for me, I want to make sure that I'm here as an attorney representing veterans. I'm representing military families.
Okay,
Why?
come on.
It's not because
you're a
I want to be able to.
Let's have a rational conversation. No, hold on. You're capable of you're capable of it. Let me ask you a really simple question. If more immigration always makes the country richer, then why does the state with the most immigration, which is California, keep getting poorer? It now has more poverty than any state. 1 out of 5 Californians is poor. If immigration makes us richer, why is California getting poorer? What's the answer to that, I wonder?
Well, I would just say that California has a surplus of more than $10 billion into their state economy. Why? Because many factors, but because it's a welcoming state. So
well, wait a second. No, but hold on. Slow down. California's gotten poorer. 1 in 5 Californians is poor. That was not the case when I grew up in California. It has the most immigration. So if immigration always makes us more prosperous, why is the opposite happening in California? It's a very simple question.
Well, I think there is many factors. I don't think it has to do with immigration. I think it has to do with the fact that we need to manage budgets right. And I think Republicans and Democrats would agree on that. So immigrants is not just
they have nothing to do with it. Even though
that.
California is now poorer than Mississippi, immigration, which is the main thing that separates California from Mississippi, has no role in that because why? Do you have data on that, or you just kind of don't want to admit it like everyone else?
Well, I also don't think that we have data to blame immigrants for every problem of the world.
No. We're giving them credit for every success. We're saying this country's rich because of immigrants. Here's a state with the most immigrants. Why is it the poorest state? I mean, am I being crazy? I think it's a fair question.
Well, I also say that California has a surplus. Right now, the economy is doing very well. And why? Because many of immigrants. So I could always also say that immigrants are, California is doing great because of immigrants, but there's many factors into play. But I would just say, Tucker, that, you know, at the end of the day, our nation is about Statue of Liberty. Our nation is about us having an economy where people
How about
can be
this?
welcome.
Why don't we stop with the magical thinking and get real? Because things are changing really fast in this country, and we care about our country.
Absolutely.
We want it to be the best it can be. And the point is not to make other countries happy. It's to protect our people. So I hope you'll give us a pass on trying to think that through in a rational way.
Let's work together on this.
All right. Caesar, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Chris.